Alright, 3, 2, 1, boom. Chat, quit talking about meth, man. Holy smokes. Alright, 3, 2, 1, boom.
Does anybody else feel like masculinity has slowly been drained from modern video games?
Yeah.
I was looking at recent staff photos of Ubisoft.
Oh my god. Damn. Look, if you want to dye your hair blue, like, why is there 2 blue-haired women? Why can't one of you have green hair or, like, I don't know, red hair? Like, red? Looks like Ninja Pog. Looks like Ninja. Yeah, she took the course for how to be a streamer.
Ubisoft and Halo Infinite developers, and it's all starting to make sense. It's a bunch of
There's a lot of women.
fat white liberal women. And white liberal women have no interest in masculine, manly, male characters. They wouldn't.
I don't get it. I love men in video games. Like, everyone likes them to an extent, as long as they're well written and relatable and believable. I think my problem is that they're not relatable at all, the characters that they write.
Wouldn't even know how to write one if they tried. This is why
True.
Rockstar, a company founded by men that at least in 2018 was still mostly run by men, created the...
God, I loved playing Red Dead Redemption. I loved it. All the characters are so well written. They shoot guns at each other. They have rivalries. They shit talk each other. It's just like real life, you know? You don't really realize that you're playing a video game.
magnum opus Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
A game with a manly, well-written main protagonist.
Yeah, and there's like storylines where he helps, this one I think in particular, where he has a runaway kid that tries to like join a gang or do something bad to, you know, try and join the gang, and he stops him from doing that and tells him to stop becoming a bad person. He should be true to himself. Yeah, it was the cult storyline. That was it. Thank you. Spoilers, brother. The game's been out for like 8 years. Come on. Or 1,000,000 years at least.
Arthur Morgan. If you want to see the seismic shift away from masculine characters, honestly, all you need to do is play a few games from 2006, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Consider how many masculine military games came out.
My brother loved, God, what is it called? God damn it. Gears of War 1 and 2. He loved Gears of War 1 and 2.
In the 2000s.
Awesome.
Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, Brothers in Arms, Gears of War, Operation Flashpoint, Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell.
Do you notice how all these games were made back when you could, like, call each other slurs in video games online without getting permanently banned? Yeah. That's crazy.
All of these games were starring men and had themes like brotherhood, duty, sacrifice, honor. Almost all of these franchises have either been killed off, turned into multiplayer games, or went woke. I often wonder...
Or they just became milked so hard that, like, it just didn't stay the same as it used to be. Sad. My brother loved playing Arma too. He actually, one day, I was so bored, and he kept hogging the computer, and he said, you know what, do you want to play Arma? And I was like, I don't want to play your army games, they're boring. And he twisted my arm and freaking made me play Arma.
Why so few modern games appeal to me. And I think another big reason is this. Everything is just so gay now. Compare the games I just mentioned to the modern trash we have to deal with in Overwatch and Apex.
Well, it's because it's not relatable. Not everyone is gay. Not everyone is straight either, but like, if you make it the center focus of the game, a lot of people are gonna be turned off by it.
Almost every character in these new games is either gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, or something else.
Or the fact that it doesn't have to be the centerpiece for a character to be gay. What if you're a character in a video game and you're just cool and being gay isn't like one of your center traits?
Like,
I know, crazy
what
thought.
happened to a masculine dude with a hot chick on his arm? I love the idea of Xbox Game Pass, but I swear
Wait, What? Wait, Fallout New Vegas had transgender and non-binary in its game? Am I cooked? I didn't even know that. Or maybe, here's a thought, maybe Fallout New Vegas had characters that were ambiguous, but it didn't matter because it was a good game. It had lesbians, maybe some random NPC, they're called mutants, NFS Unbound. I don't know, but it doesn't matter because if it's a good game, nobody cares. Or at least it's not like something that people care about that much.
Every time I open it up and look for new games, there's just so many games that look gay now. I refuse to play another cutesy 2D platformer.
God damn it, he took the fucking words right out of my fucking mouth. I said cutesy and he said cutesy at the same time. Oh my gosh! Cozy games made for females? Look, I like cozy games, but like sometimes I don't want to play a cozy game.
Or a game with a cutesy art style by some indie developer anymore. I'm just done with these games. If you want my 100% real thoughts on this, I just think the entire video game industry has gone woke and gay, and almost nothing they are making appeals to me in any way anymore. So this is why I mostly play 20-year-old games on my channel, because they were just better.
That's fair. Yeah, don't consume if you don't like it. Fair point.
Recently reading an insider interview about what went down.
Oh, is this Saints Row? Ew,
at Volition
man.
Studios with the disastrous Saints Row reboot from an inside.
It's such a travesty too, because like Saints Row 1, 2, and 3 was all about machoism and like, you know, being a cool gangster and like stealing money and beating people up. It was like GTA, but like almost like a parody of GTA.
Source. This source said that the LGBTQ community within the company was actually pretty small, but they are the loudest and the most annoying, and the company leadership chose to promote these people into key roles.
Remember when the DEI woman said that, what is it called? She said if you find someone not listening to you, threaten them. Threaten them with the idea that if they don't listen to you, then, you know, we should scare them into, like, doing what you want. Blackmail? No, they threatened them, essentially.
And that's how you get the absolute dumpster fire of a game that was Saints Row 2022.
Oh, yeah.
I think what you have at a lot of these game studios is about 80% of the staff is probably just hetero dudes trying to do their job, but they're afraid of speaking up or saying what they actually think, and then you have the LGBTQ folks making decisions about what kind of game to make. And everything just ends up being safe and soft and sensitive because, we can't hurt anybody's feelings. So, of course, you get the...
That's another ridiculous thing. There's like a moment in Red Dead Redemption 2 where you confront people that are part of the KKK, and you can either choose to kill them or just like ignore them, because that was like the reality of back in the day, but you can also address it. It's like, why? That's not like feeling uncomfortable. It's just supposed to educate you of like how things happened back in the day, because it's a historically, or at least mildly historically accurate fantasy game.
These shitty dumpster fire video games that nobody wants to play.
Like, why are we so uncomfortable with like addressing like reality?
After reading a lot of insider interviews at these developers, this is my sense of what has been happening. I also feel like there's this kind of unholy...
Oh, is this Alyssa? Oh my god, it's Alyssa Mercante. If they beat you over the head with DI in office, they're gonna beat you over the head with it in game. 1 second, I gotta plug it in my fucking headset. It keeps screaming that it's out of battery. 1 second. Recharge headset! Shut up, bitch, I know. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, it's Melissa Mercante.
Alliance right now between games journalists, white liberal women at game studios, and the LGBT
Game Award winner, purveyor of shitty woke games, insufferable Kotaku editor who gets dragged on the internet every single day, and she manages to mental gymnastics that she's not the bad guy.
TQ community at game studios. And they all seem to be united around one thing. They actually hate gamers.
Yeah.
And who are gamers? Overwhelmingly, well...
white straight men!
Oh, heterosexual dudes like us, of
Wow.
course. This recent Reddit thread was written by an actual game developer and made me realize this. It reads, headline,
Hey, not just white? No, because the game developers for Concord said that white straight males are the problem. Clearly, they're the only ones that play games, so they must be right, chat?
Am I allowed to say this? I kinda hate gamers. I'm a professional game designer, and I'm worried that I'm starting to hate gamers. Watching the gaming events on YouTube last month with the chat on was extremely disheartening experience. Every time a character that wasn't a cis-het white man appeared on screen, the chats would fill with messages calling the game woke or complaining about DEI. Every game that wasn't a shooter or a hyper-casual competitive online game garnered zzz and boring comments.
Yeah, if you watch Asma's chat during the Game Awards, every time there's a woman on the screen, it's like, looking.
I've seen people implying that the MC in Fable trailers is ugly because it's a self-insert of some random level designer working at Playground whom they deemed not fuckable enough. I don't know, it's just the internet magnifying negative voices, I guess, doing what it does best. But it's making me real tired of gamers.
So at this point, it's...
Even at the awards show that they did for the indie, what is it called? The OTK Top Games, where they showcase indie games, a lot of them were cozy games and people didn't really care for them. 10th farming game? Yeah, like it gets tiring after a while. Of course they're spamming Resident Sleeper. Yeah.
It seems that games journalists and all of the liberal LGBT mafia that work at game studios actually hate their audience.
And I'm willing to bet that this Reddit thing post is just like a bait post, and I don't think it really matters. It's still how these game devs think. It might not be like an actual real post, but they really do give off that vibe.
And this is a comment I keep reading from you guys again and again. I swear they literally hate us. They seem to be dead set on giving their audience exactly what we don't want. How long is your business going to be open if you're dead set on not giving the customer what they want? This is why when skanks like Alyssa Mercante are crying about Kotaku shutting down and losing their jobs,
Shit face.
And game studios are going under because they were associated with Sweet Baby Inc., I just laugh. Let them burn. Let all these companies burn who don't know how to give the audience. The wonderful irony in all this is that it's the very games that the woke cancel mob has tried to cancel that seem to do the best.
Yep, Hogwarts Legacy. I personally played Hogwarts Legacy. I didn't stream it. It was a good game. I would say it's like a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, it was alright. It wasn't bad. Yeah, Hogwarts, Wukong, Stellar Blade. How long ago was this month? It was a month ago, so they didn't even know about Wukong being a success yet. Obviously, because they made the video and like just made it.
Remember Hogwarts Legacy? Yeah, men who dress in women's clothes tried to get it canceled. Instead, the game sold 25 million copies. Oops.
That's crazy.
Remember Elden Ring?
24
Remember
million.
how the woke mob tried to accuse FromSoft games of having, quote, problematic depictions of women?
Oh, yeah. And then they also tried to say that it wasn't diverse enough and it's all just men and straight women. God, that was insane. Like, people are just trying to enjoy the game. It's like, bro, the story is so much deeper as well.
Oops. Sold 25 million copies. At this point, making an offensive game seems to guarantee that game's success. We could talk about Stellar Blade.
Oh, yeah. I remember back in the day, people were really upset at this happening. That this was like part of the story. Go back! Okay.
We could talk about Stellar Blade, pissing off all of the liberal progressives, and yet everybody went out and bought it.
Yeah, and then the model was too hot, apparently, chat. Stellar Blade's model, this character, was modeled after a real Korean model, and she's too beautiful for them, apparently.
Okay, so in the rest of this video, I want to give you 4 examples of a game or game series going from masculine to feminine or gay, and it basically either killed or ruined the franchise. Number 1, Ubisoft and Red Storm Entertainment.
Ubisoft.
So Red Storm Entertainment was a video game company founded by the legendary Tom Clancy to make Tom Clancy video games. He sold the company to Ubisoft in the year 2000, and Ubisoft in the 2000s actually had some balls and made some of the manliest games you've ever seen. There were the Splinter Cell games, the Ghost Recon.
Yeah, I remember. I had a Splinter Cell game on my phone. Yeah, I remember that.
The Rainbow Six games, and the Far Cry games. All of these games pretty much feature exclusively men, and these IPs in the 2000s had so much testosterone, just a single glance from a woman in their direction would get her pregnant. I mean, motherfucker.
You know what's funny? When I was a kid, those games didn't really interest me that much. I thought they were too boyish. Like, my brother played them, and sometimes he would try and get me to play them. But ultimately, I never once felt like I needed to, like, have a game change to cater to my, like, desire. I had other games to play that were not as aggressively, quote-unquote, manly. I never cared for it. I was a kid, and I didn't understand it, but, like, I guess I did understand it from, like, a normal perspective.
Fucking Sam Fisher, come on. The dude is the ultimate Giga Chad. Scott Mitchell in Ghost Recon. Now, you pick your own character in Far Cry 2, but it's definitely a manly game that will put hair on your chest. So what is Red Storm Entertainment up to today? Well, I recently saw that Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland is being led by a man who dresses in women's clothes in his free time. Now, look, I don't give a shit if you want to identify as a dragon and go around laying magic eggs, but can we agree that the least masculine thing on earth you can do is dress in women's clothes? Tom Clancy would be rolling over in his grave right now if he knew the absolute disaster that Red Storm Entertainment had become. Number 2, Wolfenstein. So
I just don't think that it matters what you do and how you advertise yourself on social media if you can just make a good game. Like, let's be real. If you make your, like, identity front and center on social media and then you release a bad game, of course people are gonna roast you for it. Yeah, don't push your personal life into your video game. Just, like, make a good game, and I don't think people will care. Yeah, that's crazy. I know. It's just how reality works. People can overlook something if the result is outstanding.
I was recently playing Wolfenstein: The New Order for the first time, which came out in 2014, and I have to say, of all the games I was sure were going to avoid woke Western progressivism, this game was pretty high up there. The first 3 entries of the reboot were all fantastic. They had the badass BJ Blazkowicz, an absolute unit, as the main character, ripping apart entire armies of Nazis.
Oh, wasn't Wolfenstein the most recent one? That was with 2 chicks, wasn't it? Like, why did you change the formula? It's like having Tomb Raider, but it's not Lara Croft anymore. It's someone else. It's not Tomb Raider then. Like, why?
Nazis with the sexy and smart Anya as his arm candy and wife. Machine Game's first 3 Wolfenstein entries, which came out in 2014, 2015, and 2017, are all great. They have normal men and women doing normal shit in them. Awesome. But of course, the woke mob had to get involved somehow. So you have a beloved series with a beloved, tough, male, manly main character. Do you suppose it's a good idea to kill off that guy and replace him with cringy girl boss characters?
Oh, no, not killing them off, man. When you kill off a character, dude, he's dead? That's why they have 2 chicks? I remember people were super hyped about Wolfenstein Youngblood. Yeah, and then they saw the trailer. And they were like, what?
Wolfenstein Youngblood came out in 2019, and it's an absolute tone-deaf disaster. So many modern video games, I find myself asking,
he didn't die?
Who wanted this? Who asked for this? I often ask the same thing of the new Star.
Oh no. This was a video made a month ago. He doesn't know yet.
Star Wars shows by Kathleen Kennedy as well. The Wolfenstein reboot had the perfect synergy of story and gameplay. You are BJ Blazkowicz, unleashing his rage on the Nazis for killing everyone he loved. You see this come across in his brutal assassinations, like sticking a rusty pipe through the eye socket of an SS Waffen commander. But the setup to Wolfenstein Youngblood is incredibly cringe. In it, you play as BJ's daughters, and they're honestly nothing like him. The first time you kill somebody, they don't really want to do it, And when they finally kill the guy, they have to have lattes and talk about it afterwards.
Because they're women. Because they're women, man. That's why. Oh, women wrote this! Ah!
Youngblood is a perfect example of how a cutscene can go so wrong in a game. BJ's setup is perfect and explains to you why you're doing the actions you're doing. BJ's daughters, however, are acting like they're in an episode of Big Bang Theory the whole time, but oh yeah, they just happen to be killing Nazis and haha, isn't this so funny? It's tonally all over the place and just so full of cringy and awful cinematics, which is ironic because the cinematics in the first 3 games were like so good and short, and they got to the point and they were really emotional and impactful. Example number 3, Gears of War.
Look, you can be a woman and write something that is worthy of like international and like cultural praise, but like when it's a game about killing each other and then you sit down and talk about like oh, I just felt so bad I killed. It's like, no man, this is about Wolfenstein. The guy rips people's heads off and slices their necks. No one cares, man. The tone is just completely different. Demon Slayer, look, Demon Slayer has some great story like premises, but like I'll admit, even Demon Slayer has its moments where I'm like, damn, this is definitely written by a woman, because they start yapping about shit I don't care about. Even sometimes to me, I'm like, this is definitely a little bit like much. Like, can we go back to like slicing heads off and like chopping people apart? Yeah.
Or for a full explanation of how the woke mob girl-bossed Gears of War, see my video on that game, but I'll keep this short. The first 3 Gears games are an incredible trilogy focusing on the bonds and brotherhood between men. And
that's why, you want to know what's funny? My brother's main reason for wanting to join the army and the navy at one point, he really wanted to, but that's like besides the point, was because of video games. It's crazy. He wanted a bond. He always wanted to be part of like a troop and stuff, because like he had a hard time making friends in school. And like he grew apart when he like started having a fucking like a corporate job. And I remember him talking to me that one of the main reasons is because he wanted like a brotherhood, just like they do in video games, like Gears of War. Even though it's like brutal and people like die and stuff, but it's just what he wanted. And I think a lot of men in real life want that kind of like desire. And that's why these games appeal to them. I personally don't get it because obviously I'm not a man, but like, I think that's a big factor in what sells this kind of stuff.
Incredibly masculine games focusing on duty and sacrifice and military orders. And I know some of you hate this, but for 10,000 years, it's only been men fighting wars. Sorry.
Yep. Women are nurses and like take care of wounds most of the time, or they do some other stuff. Add soon. Unfortunate.
First 3 games focus on Marcus, Dom, Cole, and Baird and tell a masculine story of brotherhood.
Damn.
Well, the progressive woke mob somehow got to Gears of War, and Gears 4 and 5 are about sisterhood, mother.
Can I just look up something? Hold on. What percentage of women are in the U.S. Army? 17.5%. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not a lot. And if you go back in time, even 20 years, that's probably even smaller. 10 years ago? What percentage of women... Wait, what's a good Google word? Percentage of women in military graph history. What's the start with? Oh, it was like 5%, less than 5% in 1974. And then it climbed slowly to like 15% in 2004. So that actually makes sense, yeah. It increased over 10% over like 30 or 40 years. So it's not like a common relatable thing for women to be in the army.
Being a traitor, and what it feels like to be a woman. They introduced the character of Kate Diaz, who I don't think anybody gives a single fuck about. What they should have done is put Kate in a spin-off game, not a mainline Gears entry. But here's the problem, of course.
But again, you're not catering to an audience that cares about this stuff. Like, there's not a lot of people that find it, like, interesting to play a female character that has a sisterhood that they fight for.
Nobody would have bought it. So unfortunately, Gears 4 and 5 are basically girl boss, feminist Gears of War. And any masculine story about men is put on the back burner. Of course, the games include Baird and Marcus in them, but they're really on the back burner. And Gears is now about Kate Diaz, who I've never talked to a Gears fan even cares about. Moving on, example number 4, the Saints Row reboot.
Oh, even Saints Row 4 was kind of cooked, to be honest. I played Saints Row 4 and it was not as enjoyable as 1, 2, and 3. The reboot completely destroyed it.
Saints Row spent 10 years building up characters and building up a very distinctive and edgy and male sense of humor. It's the kind of stuff you and the guys would laugh at. Some of the recurring characters in Saints Row are Johnny Gat, Julius, Aisha, Shondi, and several others. In these games, the men are men and the women are women. Johnny is edgy and hilarious and always has a hot chick on his arm. The humor is crude and hilarious, and the Saints are always getting into trouble. Yeah. So what went wrong with the reboot?
A lot of people say that Saints Row 3 sucked. I thought it was okay. Saints Row 4 really went off the rails. 1 and 2 is the best.
Well, the woke 2022 reboot thought it was a good idea to kill off every single character from the old Saints Row games, and I guess they thought we would be cool with that?
What? They killed off every single one? Why would anyone play the game? They're attached to the characters. Everyone loved Johnny Gat.
But don't worry, all of the beloved characters you've come to know and love have been replaced with tokenistic characters from a literal seminar on diversity. You've got the gay Asian man,
the nerdy black guy,
the girl boss lesbian, another girl boss lesbian, and the gay black guy. The LGBTQ mafia.
No, he's not just nerdy, he's gay as well.
Didn't just kill Saints Row, they crucified it on a rainbow flag. And this is what you get, guys. This is what you fuckers get for supporting these people. They turn out shitty games that aren't funny, that aren't cool, that aren't masculine. So stop hiring these people. Game developers need to stop putting gay stuff in games, and they need to fire every liberal white woman if they want us to ever buy a game again. Because I'm serious, we are done with this.
I think that there's gonna be like a turnaround. I think with the amount of pushback and how much money that people, like studios, are losing, I think it might pivot the other way around. It might take some time, but I don't know. The pendulum swims the other way. Yeah, I think so. I think it will swing. Investors are raining shit down on them. I don't think it's happening yet. Like, how many have failed so far? Maybe like 5 or 6 big ones anyway. Like, I'm gonna be realistic. I don't think Dustborn is like a good indicator, and I don't think people are gonna care because it's not a massive studio. I think that Saints Row and Flintlock and what is it called? Forspoken. I think those ones that have like $1 million budgets, those ones are gonna get fucked. Yeah, Concord, exactly. I think those ones are gonna fall through.
Shit, we're not buying these games. Like, Phil Spencer is out here complaining about how people aren't spending as much money on games anymore. I guarantee if you give us hetero dudes hot chicks in games again and manly men, you will see sales go through the roof. Bring back the glory days of video.
Stellar Blade, man. Stellar Blade is such a good indicator. People went bananas for Stellar Blade.
Games. I have this theory that in a few years, we're going to see a turn back to the golden era of video games, and people are going to start buying games again. I recently saw this crazy chart from 2023 that basically showed that people are only playing old games these days.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play anything that's new out right now because it's all woke and it all sucks so bad.
I'm guilty of this, man. I am totally guilty of this. I've installed games that like look like My God, they're like 10 years old at this point, to be honest. Just replaying them for nostalgia, because it's not fun.
So anyway, guys, let's all hope there's a return of masculine characters in games again at some point that we can relate to. All right, I'm out.
I think this guy is the very extreme side of the spectrum, where he's like the really far swing of like, all women bad, all women. But I think that he does bring up a good point. I don't think people are playing these like wokish, games. Yeah, he's like a macho man. I think he's probably over the age of 35. You know. I freaking hate women. He did say liberal women, not just women. I mean, he says hot women. Hot women need to return to video games. He's way down the rabbit hole. Yeah, but you also have to understand, he's probably just some dude that wants to play a game and it's just being overrun, which is true. It is. He's the person that has been consistently being told that he's wrong. And when you start to silence a voice like that, I think this is like what is the result. Frustrated. Yeah, that's a good word. I think the tendency for women to write bad games is intended for male audiences is real, but it doesn't mean they're not capable. Again, everyone has an obsession with inserting their personal lives into works. This is true for game devs, Hollywood rewriting, and source material, etc. For those that don't play World of Warcraft, there was a Mary Sue that was included by one of the main writers called what was his fucking name? God damn it, dude. It was such a fucking forgettable, stupid character that they ruined. It was not Sylvanas. Nathanos? Was it Nathanos? He was in love with Sylvanas, and apparently the character, yeah, Nathanos Blackcolor, yes, the Sylvanas simp. He was the simp. The lead dev writer was self-inserting Nathanos into being Sylvanas' lover because he loved Sylvanas so much. It goes both ways, man. I hate it when people write really obvious Mary Sues. Yeah. I just hate him, man. They made him a cuck who should have stayed in EPL. Yeah, he was a cool character, but like they just kind of like went too far. It's cool people want representation, but it's too much when they're trying to make a group of diverse characters of every sex, race, orientation, every damn game. Give me some beefy, manly men. Yes, I totally agree. Give me like Geralt of Rivia, man. I played Duke Nukem when I was a kid. This guy's name is all too good. Soft, woke, gay shit. Dude, it is crazy. Look at the thumbnails. That's probably why he has so many subs, man.